Hi, welcome to a Dungeons and Dragons one shot for, I guess this is Sunday. Normally I would have my Treasure of the Lost Legion, but guess what? Rachel's still in Hawaii with her husband for like some period. Both lucky and, unlucky.
Yeah, lucky for some.
Well,
Wow.
I guess it's work, so, can't done, but still.
This is work.
Well, it's work for her husband for her.
I guess
So she's getting a big vacation in Hawaii, which is awesome.
But instead, so we are here together for a D&D one-shot, Mystery of Port Sandaria. We just go around the group here. We'll start with Joe. Just, I guess, introduce your character, and introduce yourself quickly. I'll have everybody, I guess, pimp themselves out at the end of the show then.
I exclusively work with Matt on his channel, so no really pimping from myself. I'm going to be
pimp
playing
right now anyway.
Oh, well, I'm just saying.
It's not the time for pimping. There's a time and a place.
And it's the end of the show.
I pimped. Sorry. I'm going to be playing Karn. I'm a barbarian Goliath. And that's pretty much all I've got for him. So,
all right.
Me, I'm a tiefling rogue who is actually lawful good. He's like an old ex-soldier. It's great. I'm the most person in this group of mismatched people, which is going to be fun. Also something that should be noted by gracious host.
Yes.
All made using the D&D Beyond character builder, which actually doesn't work.
It doesn't work very well. We had to do the quick builder.
Characters are not actually book correct. You couldn't use this in official Adventure League. They are not legal characters because the character builder does not function correctly. But that's the whole point of this stream, is to test it, which someone forgot to mention.
I wasn't mentioning all the details right away. You put the gun on it. It's fine. It's fine. I can accept this.
Someone here is a professional. I don't know who.
Well, I guess you're more professional than me in this case because you're getting everything, the ball rolling quicker. So, Drake / Worm / Diamond / I don't know which you really want to go by.
We just go by Worm, don't we?
That Worm normally.
Worm normally. I can edit that in Nightbot. That'll probably work better.
I'm Diamond. I do Twitch streaming on Twitch on my channel, twitch.tv/DiamondWorm. Worm spelled with a Y. All lowercase. I also have a Twitter. Anyway, and any character is Wolfburn. Wolfburn, a Goliath wizard.
Yep, cool. And Tiv?
I'm Tiv, Tavalik. Either one works for me. And I'm going to be playing Kro, the Arakakra monk, and it's a pleasure to meet you all.
We're not in character yet.
Stream
ruined.
Stream ruined. Yep, everything's ruined. All right, why don't we dive into it today? So, I'm just so used to hosting from yesterday. All right, so diving into it, the of you have all arrived in the town of Port Sandaria. Sandaria is known as the City of Piers, the Crescent Bay. It's this massive crescent-shaped, bay for one, where the north and south parts of the crescent are massive hills and hills. The north is known for where the rulers of the town roll. It's the rich part of town. South is known for a number of mines that are actually with the city itself and industry. In the middle of the bay is a massive area of floatings and docks, and hence why it's also known as the City of Piers. You have arrived in the docking area, and all of you have, in a way, made your way into town and are now in the Hanging Bass Inn. None of you are together right now, but you are all in this inn. So all of you are effectively doing what you want to do. Town, up to you what your private things are. A man will approach each of you separately. He will introduce himself as Jenkins. Jenkins, older man. You can tell he's wearing very fine clothing, but he's kind of got over it, almost as if he's doing something in secret. And he will each of you separately that there is a business in the part of town where you not normally would go to, the Marble District. Please go there and go to the Shining Peak, the city hall, if you will, of this place, and take these writs of passage there. It will appear as though you are a courier. It will be worth your while. You are a type that have perhaps a small for yourself, but not enough to attract attention, and I have need of some assistance. If you should take care of this, all your stay in town will be taken care of, and you'll be handsomely rewarded with and perhaps favors from someone in a much higher position than my own. Any of you respond to that in particular? Or do you take the writ of passage and head on?
I would take it. I would be very suspicious. As I said, my character is like a soldier. He's lawful good, and he's a very well-behaved rogue. So he's like, oh, I'm gonna do the suspicious thing. He's like, there better not be any funny business. I'm gonna go and do this, but just to see you're not criminals or something, you know?
Yes.
Which would be incredibly stupid for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this one shot might go a different way if that's the plan.
That will go a very different way if that's the plan.
I respond with a, what is the point of all this?
The person who has sent me is in a position that your assistance will need to be in a discretion. It is nothing you'll have to worry about with the authorities, but public image.
Very well. It will not hurt to check out, I guess.
Okay. Craw?
As long as you do not make me laugh, I can stay quiet. And I just kind of walk off.
Karn, anything you want to say in particular when he approaches you?
I'm just gonna kind of eye him a moment. I actually want to make an insight check on him.
Sure.
Oh.
We'll just take the first one.
Yeah, I don't have a toggle.
I forgot to put toggle in for you. I'll put that in a second. But we'll just take one. You will kind of like take a look at him, and it seems like he's up and up. You just don't get a huge danger feeling from him. He is definitely an elderly man, kind of whiting hair, looks to be at least old age, probably maybe 50s, 60s. So.
I'll take the writ and just say I'll look.
Okay. If all of you will follow the writ, he will inform early, but aim for 4 o'clock. That messengers come in all the time from various places to the peak, the city's place. Each of you will move into the area that he referred to as the district, which is an incredible sight. As town itself isn't really poor. It's night and day still. You have average city town, and then an area that seems of extravagant wealth that everything seems to be almost marble. It is just massive buildings and structures that are, and elaborate things with gold plating. Gold guards are everywhere. It is just the extravagant to an extreme degree that you just if you have any sense of tact, none of you would have built this. It's bordering on
showing off
to degree.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Got you.
And at the top of it all, the highest peak area is what is referred to as peak, a massive 50-foot tall building made almost entirely of white marble with elaborate designs all over it. It is huge, with what would be almost described as a small battalion outside of it, acting guards patrolling the area at all times. A man will approach you each separately and instruct you where to go. The four of you will end up in a small, like, sitting room, all together. Any kind of small talk you want to have with each other?
Well, I'd add that old Barter, which is my character's name, looks like a city guard. Not from here, but, he's wearing, like, a military uniform, and he's still incredibly suspicious. Has two swords at his side, which are, like, officers' swords. They're ridiculously fancy. And he's, like, holding on to both of them, like, shit's about to go down at any moment. He's not very friendly. He's a grumpy bastard, like all my characters.
Like all.
So my character walks in a corner, pulls out a book, just reading.
Okay. You Karn, doing anything in particular as you're on here?
Well, what kind of furniture do they have?
It's a fine type of wood, maybe like a mahogany or something.
Are they like benches though, or?
There's probably like some bench, and then the couple of smaller seats on the edge of it.
I'll probably take a bed due to my size. That's what
assume.
I was more concerned of. I don't want to be a guy seated on a chair.
No. There is something you can definitely fit in. Don't worry.
Okay, I'll sit down and kind of just look around at the.
It's a tiefling, and I'm going to mispronounce the Arkarva.
Arokra?
Arokra. I keep mispronouncing.
You gotta say it's a spice.
Arokra. I've pronounced that since the beginning of knowing the name of it. So, two Goliaths, a tiefling, and Arokra walk into a bar, or at least walk into a sitting room.
Walk into an office.
Walk into an office.
Kra would probably arrive last, because they said be there around a little early, so he'd probably show up at 3:59.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, play the system. Okay.
And he just kind of walks in, arm behind back. He has, black robes on, nothing super fancy, just, traditional. And he walks in, looks at all of you, kind of snapping his head around, making sure he got all of your size, and then just kind of actually perches on a chair.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at the stroke of 4, I go, so you know why we are here? Just still with my book up in front of my face.
As soon as you say that, the man you had met before, Jenkins, takes a step in. He's like, gentlemen, I thank you for coming. No longer in the cape, now cape on the full, fine clothing he has that I had before. Please, would you accompany me? Now that we have you here, we can take care of business.
Would you describe what this business is exactly, sir?
Your employer should lawyer you about that.
You're not our employer?
I only work for him.
Of course I send the lowerman.
Well, wouldn't he be our employer once we to be employed?
The option is yours to choose to leave here after you hear his offer, but I would at least hear him out.
This is how workers' free agents is.
With all this secrecy, I don't think they would let us leave, so we should probably yes.
He will lead you to a huge office with what looks to be like a 20-foot long desk with could almost be described as a throne behind it. It's like everything seems a little like gold-plated and has intricate decorations on it. It's gaudy, and behind it is this kind of slightly porky man. He's got incredibly blonde hair. He looks like he's maybe in his middle ages, 40, 50, but his hair is wonderfully, waft and blonde. He actually is quite attractive for his looks, and he goes, "Gentlemen, welcome to my city. I am Mayor Governor James Tanner, and I'm glad you have come here to, assist me in this matter, or at least to hear me out. You see, I'm in a position, an elected position, that I cannot make certain actions within my city, or certain pardons. Something terrible has happened. a friend of mine has been accused of murder. Now, I know this friend. And, well, I feel like he is innocent. The case seems too cut and dry, and I cannot pardon him. It would be wrong of me to abuse my position, and, as I said, I am only a humbly elected official. I could not force the point. But if perhaps some folks outside of the bureaucracy were to investigate this crime. Now, I can only give you slight help on this case. Passes that would help you to at least show that you are working for the council, the city itself. And beyond that, it would be up to you to determine the best course of action. But if you could bring evidence to, well, the sheriff, it would help a lot. Are you
Is
interested?
that a pause for us to talk?
Are you interested?
Yeah. You said you think he's innocent.
The truth
Do you have
is,
any reason to...
The truth is, I cannot say for sure. He is a good friend of mine, and I know his character. I know the kind of person he is, and the situation seems unusual. It was unfortunately his weapon that killed the person, and he lived next door to where they were found. So, the evidence seems overwhelming, but that seems to be the main crux of the evidence.
Well, I would happily investigate, but the evidence says what the evidence says. If we do not find otherwise, then your friend needs to suffer the penalties for the crimes he's committed.
I understand. I understand. If you find that he is truly guilty, that is fine too. I want to know the truth. I do not feel like the sheriff has investigated, to say. My friend chose to live within the dock district, and the dock district, as fine as it is mostly treated as riffraff, sailors. The sheriff does not wish to press things too much.
Doesn't want to get his boots dirty with the common folk?
I would not say necessarily, but too much difficulties, I guess, in his opinion. And if
Sounds like you need a new sheriff.
I would happily accept a position of sheriff.
Well,
It's not a joke.
unfortunately, I do not think I am the position to appoint it. It's the council itself that appoints it, as I am appointed by the council to oversee the city on day-to-day operations. I'm merely a figurehead, chosen from amongst them all to look over things when they're busy with their money.
Barter looks around at the gold in the room and is like, yes, and you have it's such a selfless job and position here. I presume that some of the well-earned money of the people will be going to us so that your friend can live free.
Oh, yes. I am a member of the council to myself, truthfully. So I, of course, have much wealth I can share. And I will be paying this out of pocket. Perhaps...
Off the books, I assume.
Well, officially, I'm hiring you on as couriers around town. Officially. But I am giving you a special writ that may get you into certain places. You should be able to get into where the body is being kept until it is buried. You should be able to investigate a couple of buildings, have a level of authority if you talk to people. But be warned, it is only a small level of authority, and they still might be obstinate, especially in the dock district. The dock district is, well, as I said, it is slightly seedier than the rest of town. Or at least perceived that way in general.
Very well.
Understood.
Get paid to do a little bit of digging. Could be fun.
I can offer you at very least 500 apiece for this job.
Of course you
I
mean
nod.
gold, yes?
What was that?
Of course you mean gold, yes?
Yes.
I'll nod.
if you wish, I can also offer perhaps passage out of the city once you're done, if you need to go somewhere else. Or I could perhaps be able to persuade certain groups of even discounts on certain items.
Tell us the name of this friend that is framed already.
Dorn Firebeard.
Dwarven.
Yes. His victim, apparently, is Winifred Thomas. A young girl. As far as I know, she worked in, I believe it was a tailor shop or something of the similar. Unfortunately, I did not get all the information. I was not given it.
That's our job.
Exactly. Find out as much as you can about... They apparently knew each other just because they lived in the same area of town. And there apparently had been some things that had happened deep in the past. But that was between multiple people within the town itself. That Doran had a problem with many of his neighbors. And so it was almost assumed in a way that this was yet another reason for things to occur.
Do you have any more intelligence, or should we be on our way? The day is young.
You can go talk to the sheriff himself and find some information out.
Who was this that he murdered? You know?
Winifred
Thomas.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry, I missed the name.
Yes.
Bart has got like a little policeman's notepad thing going on right now.
Even with your higher standing, you are not privy to the information concerning the case?
The sheriff is another appointed, and appointed from another family. And so, unfortunately, his family and mine, I wouldn't say rivals, but there's ancient animosities deep within it.
A smart city would keep their mayor and their sheriff separate, so that a mayor doesn't think they're too big for their boots.
The council agrees with you.
And might I ask what the occupation of Dorn and Winifred were?
As I said, I believe Winifred was like a tailor or something of the similar. I do not know for sure. Doran himself was a craftsman. Both metal and jewelry and woodworking, specializing in all of them. He put himself within the docks because he specialized in acquiring materials from ships, unusual ones for our town, and constructing things out of those.
Anything else? That would be to the rest of you. If you've got any questions.
My character's just scribbling away too, as well.
He is trained in the axe. He served with me on one of my father's boats in my youth. We dealt with some pirates quite a few times. So, it's not as if he could not have done it, and that is what worries me. It's just that he was always a good man.
Was there any motivation behind this?
Beyond the conflict he had with his neighbors, and she was one of his neighbors. I do not know if there was any. There seems to be many assumptions in this case.
I guess we should see the sheriff and see what evidence he has in hand.
If we see the sheriff will know that we're investigating the case. If there is something untoward happening, then that would be troublesome for us.
Perhaps, since you are a go-between, you might be able to convince him to get some information. Just tell him that you are people from my office that wish to know more about what's going on. And he's going to kind of like come up and whisper in your ear some kind of, it sounds like an insult. Tell him that about me, and it should get him on your good side.
Okay, cool.
Remember, he does not like me. So if it turns out that you do not like me, then perhaps you'll be willing to share information.
I do not think that will be very hard to act.
Ha!
Well,
I'm done here. We have what we need. If you want to help me, He like looks. And he's like almost can't believe that he's about to work with like a Birdman and 2 Goliath. But he's also a tiefling, so I guess he can't really. And he just like leaves. If the door is closed, he just like opens it and leaves. He's probably got pretty clicky boots on because his military uniform.
Yep. Everybody else following Barter?
I'm gonna look at the other ones, but I guess we should follow the little man.
That's true. I'd be the shortest person here, even though
Air cockers are pretty small.
I thought they were pretty tall. I guess it depends on which.
They're between like
world.
5 and 6 feet, and they're really light too because fly.
They're hollow.
Yeah.
They got loads of holes in them. Ooh-wee. Guess we'll go to the sheriff then.
Okay. Jenkins will give you some directions on how to find the sheriff. He will be on the way out of the Marble District. There will be a building there that looks less gaudy than all the rest. Still a little gaudy, but like it seems a lot more practical. And it has like some flags of the city and stuff flying above it. It definitely has the air of also authority, just as if it's the authority, like the big building was authority, but it was like gaudily giant authority. This is the actual practical authority building. Yes, there's a practical
does shit.
Yes, that does shit.
Okay, good.
There are all kinds of soldiers about. There's like a small kind of entry area with a long desk and some people working behind it.
As we were walking, I'm gonna look over at Karn and see that he's clearly like the strongest out of all of us. So I'm just gonna try to hop up on his shoulder and perch there.
Without asking?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just go for it.
That is so rude.
When he looks up at me, just.
That's what I'm kind of
a
just like
problem.
turning my head like.
I can move. I just assumed with your muscles that you wouldn't mind. I'm very light, as you can tell.
Just don't poop on me.
Oh, of course. I'm not some heathen.
Keep conversing for a minute.
Okay, I guess we're interacting.
From
do any of
book.
you? Oh.
From behind the book. Well, in theory, the birds do not just poop. It's both poop and pee at the same.
I do not need to have this conversation.
They do not need to know my bodily functions.
I do not need to know your bodily functions, sir. Mom.
To be fair, I would have chosen the tiefling because of the horns. They make good perches, but
He's got like extra big horns too. They are ridiculous.
he does not seem to be the strongest of the group, so I did not want to collapse him.
You try and stand on me, you'll find one of this sword in one orifice and this sword in another. I'm not accepting that.
If you could hit
I
me.
didn't want to know about his bodily functions.
All right. So all
He'll
of you.
laugh.
So you're within the small, or the entry area of the big building, and one of the people looking behind the desk will work for a little while, and then will turn towards you and like look at your group, kind of like take like a couple of seconds, like looking over your group, sort of like kind of turn the head to the side a little bit and be like, "Can I help you?"
We're a weird lot. We're here to see the sheriff on the orders of Mayor Tanner.
Oh yes, just come right out with that name. I'm sure they'll love
All
it.
right then.
I'm not going to lie to the authorities.
Let me let you know. Let me let him know. The man will wander off, and you'll just be left to stand there for a while. A couple people will come and go. A number of guards will pass by you. You do seem to, like, as the group, get kind of looks for a second, and then they'll keep going.
How tall is the room, by the way?
I was gonna say, can you guys fit through the doors?
Probably good, like, vaulted ceiling of, like, 15, I'll say, in this area.
Okay.
Sweet.
Oh, then we're good.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if I was like hunching over.
Not in here. I mean, you really weren't hunching over in the the Shining Peaks, because it was like
this district
25,
has tall,
30 feet.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I figured that.
Yeah.
they're fancy.
Yeah.
Fancy people have tall buildings.
This is less fancy, so it's like not quite as tall. It's still vaulted.
So I assume that the rest of you don't do vigilante work, then. Guessing from how you
Not
are.
usually.
No.
This is actually my first time out of the temple.
Oh, temple. Good. Well, as long as you don't try to harm the common folk, you'll find an ally in me.
I like the common folk.
I will not harm them as long as they do not harm me.
It would be no fun to fight a commoner.
About now, this man dressed in what looks to be this fairly elaborate, but not overt, like not gaudily elaborate breastplate, and kind of relatively fine clothes will kind of move out. You notice that he is a half-elf. He doesn't seem to hide it at all, slightly pointed ears. He'll kind of like move up to you, kind of take like a look over at you. He's like, "So what do you want with me?"
Information.
Do you not have an office?
Come on. He looks annoyed at the prospect of taking you to the office.
It's just like...
Are
Sorry,
you still
we have
perched
to...
on me?
Oh, yeah.
We don't have seats for you. Sorry, you're too big. No.
Are you still
We are
perched
here
on
from
me?
the orders
Oh.
of Mayor Tanner. The man's breath smells like an ox's, but work is what work is.
He'll kind of like, you'll notice a little chuckle out of him as he takes you, He'll escort you, of course, to what looks to be an office. It's a slightly larger room. It looks definitely a little elaborate, too, but there is a level of practicality in comparison to it. Like, everything in here seems to still have a level of whatever the elaborate of this section of town, but has been tapered back just a little bit.
Okay.
Stuff in here
take a
has a
look around.
purpose, not just
Yeah,
decoration.
But it looks nice.
it looks
Yes.
very nice.
No
yes.
random doodads. Okay, that's
Yeah.
got it.
Yes.
I take a look around at the chairs, question whether they'll support me, and just go stand up and just continue to stand.
Yes.
I'll fucking sit.
He only has like 2 chairs anyway. You can see there's like a number of bookshelves in here, and what looks to be a couple of cases filled with strange items. Some of them look like artifacts from like old countries. Some of them look like maybe gifts from people, things like that.
My character is slightly intrigued in this, and he'll take a couple notes down of the things that he saw.
I will hop off of Karn's shoulders because it's probably too short here for both of us.
Yes.
And I'll stand there for a second and just stare at Barter's horns and then just lean against the wall.
Okay.
I'm gonna plop down on the floor and lay back against the wall.
Okay. He's gonna take like a look all over you, like kind of all over the place, except for Barter, who's in like the chair properly. He's gonna kind of like look to you and then like kind of like look around at them and give that kind of like, "So this is what you work with" kind of like look.
Hired muscle.
What is it that you want from me?
We're here to look into the case of Firebeard, the murder case. I understand drama in the dock districts happens everywhere. Where I'm from, if you go to the farmlands, you would not believe the stories. But some people think more's gone on. Don't want to step on your toes at all, sir. But we just... whatever you can tell us about it, the mayor would appreciate it.
We are simply here for information.
If it will get you out of my office, then fine. What is it you want to know? I can share some things.
I need to know where he is, and the state of the crime scene when it was found. I assume it's all been cleaned up by now.
The Doran himself is in our cells down below. In the basement.
Would we be able to see him?
Is he accepting visitors? Oh.
You could. He is not in a position where he is being kept in solitude. He has been cooperative as of yet. Obstinate, but cooperative.
Whenever the sheriff is talking, Kra is just gonna take some dried berries out of his bag and start eating them, clacking his beak loudly.
Ah, rude dude.
Only when the sheriff is talking.
As for the crime scene, we took the important material from it. The weapon in question, the body has been removed, but it was an abandoned house. The owner we have been unable to locate as of yet, so it has been left in the state it was left in.
I heard mention that it was his weapon. What identifies it as his?
It is both elaborately made, and it has a magical property to it. And there are not many, well, axes like that of magical property within the town.
Did
If
it
any.
have a signature or insignia describing it as his, or is it just a fine weapon with a magical property?
It does seem to bear the crest of his clan, I guess it is.
And he's been known to carry this weapon.
Not often in town. But
Maybe a family relic of some kind.
Only sometimes?
word is that sometimes he will travel with it in town when he is busy. And he has it within his household, which was next door to where the crime took place.
Well, if it was in his household, if he doesn't always have it with him and it was stored in his household, couldn't it perhaps have been taken while he was out?
I can't say that the possibilities don't exist, but again, it was his weapon. It was someone that we had heard tales of that he had had problems with in the past, as he has had with many of his neighbors. And it seems as though things had been escalating around town with tensions for various reasons. No one knows for sure, really, why tensions were escalating between Dorn and the others. He won't say. So,
Who are these others?
So-
Aside from the poor deceased lass.
he can identify a number of people from around town.
Okay, so like places we can go later on and stuff,
Yes.
kind of thing.
He will give you a list of...
Like he just keeps going on and on.
Yeah.
Like he had this altercation with this guy
Yeah.
and this guy, arguing on the street with him.
he has had a lot of altercations, but in particular, he can identify a number of people that were living around him that they just, they're the people nearby,
Stuff name.
that are you know who the neighbors are, basically.
Okay.
So, let me get this straight. You have no solid evidence you incarcerated a man purely on circumstantial.
There's
Welcome to the big city.
There's plenty of evidence. The evidence is...
Like his weapon, which could be easily stolen, the fact that he had an argument, which many people could have with someone, and the fact that they live next door, which, oh no,
Look,
circumstance.
if you want to prove that there's innocence to him, then go ahead and do it.
Barter will
Very
stand
well.
up and leave and start going to the dungeons.
Okay.
He'll go outside and then turn to like his secretary and be like, "Excuse me, miss, where are the dungeons?" Like very loudly to make his point.
Yes, okay.
Before I leave,
Yeah. And after I say, very well, we will. And I turn around and follow the tiefling out the door.
Okay.
before I leave, I'm going to ask, and where is the body being stored?
He will let you know it is at one of the local churches.
Thank you.
That makes a lot of sense.
It is being kept in the basement. It is a church to... I'm guessing at least one of you have heard about it, if anybody wants to ask, to a angelic protector of the town that's said to be able to keep the winds safe in the sails.
Oh, like a sailor god thing. Okay, sweet.
Except it's more like imperial lord.
Also, before I walk out the door of his office, I'll stop, look over at his trinkets, hold a book, take a couple more notes, close it, and then walk out.
Okay. All right. You will gain directions. He doesn't technically have a secretary outside of his office. There are some.
It was whoever I yelled at.
There's just a couple
I
of
don't
people
care.
that were like in the hallway. There were some other offices like nearby to his. He's like on a row of offices kind of area, like at the end of it. So you like grab another person that's like they're like a couple of people conversing like about something, and you like grab one of them, and they're like.
Yeah.
They're a little surprised, but we'll give you the directions to the...
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're just allowed into the dungeons of this city that we wandered into. That's great and useful for me. I'll lead down that way, and then
we got the red.
There
right?
are guards all over the place that are keeping watch on you.
I guess it's reasonable. I'll say to Worm's character that I don't know his name. Bart doesn't know his name. It's like, there's magic in that book, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
What can you do?
Let's just say I got the name Wolfburn for a reason.
Ah, fire. I know a thing or two about fire, as does my cursed bloodline.
Ah, yes.
You see Kral stifle a laugh for a moment, trying to keep his composure after he said that.
I say, unlike a lot of my kin, glancing over at Joe's character.
Totally, like I'm actually going
I-
down the staircase. He's like,
Yeah,
Squeeze
I find that true strength lies in the mind.
respectable. You might want to show off some magic to scare him if he isn't cooperative. I'm sure he will be, and I do not condone anything like torture, but a humble speck of magic can certainly loosen some lips, in my experience.
As can talons.
Yes.
All right, you will make it downstairs to another kind of office area where there's like a large desk with this kind of book open, a kind of like shrilled man with a like little pair of glasses on his nose up there, like scribing some things in it. As like, excuse me. In front of you, you see like a couple of guards, like having this guy like in manacles and stuff, kind of like escorting him over to here, and like name.
Firebeard?
No. They're talking to the guy with the.
Oh, I thought this guy was like
Uh-huh.
asking us for the name.
Andrew Cartwright. Take him to cell 27. The person will kind of squint, you know, like the little glasses on their nose. Is like,
I got you.
what are you here for?
It's the lady from Monsters Inc.
I'm watching you, Mike Wazowski.
I'm always
Always watch.
It's the male version of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
It's her husband.
It's her husband.
Yeah.
Yes.
we're here to see Firebeard. Is he speaking common? I can't tell.
Yeah. Firebeard. Give me a moment.
Have all the time you need, sir.
He'll like kind of page through. Cell 14. She'll kind of like motion over for a couple of guards that are sort of motioned here. They'll take you there.
My
Thank
thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Remember, no hands inside the bars, no food, no drink. He's on a strict diet of our choice, and no foul language. We don't want to encourage him.
Well,
And
bug-
especially, no magic shenanigans.
What about non-magic?
I
What about
closed
non-magical
my book
shenanigans?
and put it in my bag.
What about non-magical shenanigans?
She'll kind of glare at you, and then like motion for a third guard to join them.
Don't piss off bookkeepers. They always know what they're doing. Do not piss off bookkeepers.
I was just asking for clarification.
They will clarify you to death if you're not careful.
I'm not afraid of paper cuts.
All right, the three guards will now escort you to a cell. It has a kind of iron door built into this one area where you go into it, and then crossbars with probably 6 inches by 1 foot kind of in between them, So it's a pretty elaborate set of bars, but it does have a kind of an open side, except for the actual like iron door, rather than like a barred gate door. It's like a huge iron door, like that you would open and close with like a little like thing that you could open up to like slide food in below the bottom.
What a shame we're not allowed to give them food.
Mhm.
So wait, is the person there? Firebeard?
Yes, there seems to be a kind of like cot in there, with this tray where it looks like a couple little bits of food and stuff were once on it, and there's like, it looks like it's mostly been eaten. There's like a glass of like a clay mug on there, probably with like water or something. There seems to be like this kind of scruffy-looking dwarf lying there on the cot.
Firebeard, I presume.
You'll kind of see him kind of like... He'll kind of like cough and sputter a little bit, kind of like stretch a little bit. You can see he's got this kind of like bright red beard with all kinds of braids and stuff in it, you know, obviously where he gets his name.
Dwarf.
Yes, dwarf for sure. Who's asking?
We
Friends
are.
of Mayor Tanner.
Tanner. That old dog? What's he
Seems to be a human, actually.
That was a human?
What does he want? To
You
gloat?
not in there.
Well, we all want some things.
I don't want
Well,
anything.
let's start with this simple question. Did you murder Winfred Thomas?
No. But I know justice in this city. And as long as I go along, I probably won't get the noose.
Did anyone have access to your home and or your axe?
Should have been locked up. I was home. I was drunk.
You were
Ah,
home, but you were drunk.
so you
you're-
must have heard something. Poor lass murdered. When you kill young women, they scream.
I'm
I
sure
was
he
out
meant
cold.
yes,
How do you
much more drunk.
He was
How do you
dwarven
know
drunk.
they scream?
I had a big sale. Had a big profit that evening. Decided to party it out. Get some of the good stuff.
Party on your
old,
own.
Old dwarven ale from the homeland. Well,
No,
I don't
no
know
guests. No women folk.
any. No, I don't know many folks from my old home that are in this city, so don't live near me. So I decided just to enjoy the bottle myself, and well, I did.
Are you particularly fast for a dwarf?
As fast as any other dwarf would be, I'd say.
And this Winifred, what was she?
Human girl. I didn't talk to her much. Kind of snobby, a little squirrely.
So, what I'm hearing is a dwarf with the usual short legs of a dwarf. Obviously, I cannot make fun. I'm an Erdkakra, and we are not fast on that. But a human girl who would have probably heard you coming got chased down and killed by you in her own home.
Mm.
Wasn't in her home.
While you were drunk.
Wasn't in her home.
Where
And
was it?
the abandoned building next door to my home.
So now it's even more unlikely that she would be caught there, because I do not think that she would leave herself there in the first place.
But abandoned buildings have lots of twists and turns, and a terrified young woman can find themselves cornered, and he kind of trails off and stops talking.
If they're that close, then would she not go home or go to one of her neighbors? This is not seeming likely. It seems like it was more of someone she trusted, does it not?
They think that I, well, got her to come in because, well, I guess make peace with somebody in town. She did talk to some of the other folks in town. More than I did.
Why does everyone hate you, Firebeard?
Well, I probably drink too much. I set up shop in the middle of a bunch of residential homes. Worked for
Noise
long
complaints.
hours. Very much so. But never from the people that probably should complain.
Who should complain?
There's that mother that lives across the street from me. She never complains, neither that the kid. They were nice to me. They're like the only ones that were.
Did you ever have an
Interesting.
argument with Winfred?
Months ago. I was doing some work outside the front of my shop. I'd set something up to work on because I didn't have space inside, and apparently someone asked her to complain to me or something, or I don't know, maybe she was walking by and annoyed. She seemed annoying. I yelled at her. Probably shouldn't have, but I assumed it was just yet another person complaining in the first place.
It does not sound like a motivation for murder, I must say.
Well,
Yes.
I had some arguments with some of the other people that she was talking with just the other day, and they assumed that I might have talked to her. I don't think she was there, but it's hard to remember. It was like a dozen of them from around the neighborhood.
Drunk again, eh?
Nah, just too many of them to care.
Ah, okay.
All the humans blend together. I'm sorry.
That is
There's
fair.
no
I think the same
humans
thing.
here.
At least our group stands out a little bit.
Yes, that's a good thing. Of course it is.
But I don't usually see a lot of your kinds around here. Maybe a couple of yours, horny, but
Oh, I guess this guy is incredibly guilty. Barta just starts walking away.
no offense. You know, I once silver-plated tiefling's horns. That's not easy, without burning their scalp off. Don't know why you wanted it.
The horns are. It's like why you'd have an anklet or a bracelet. Barta actually does have rings sort of pierced into one of his horns, so he's not even like weirded out by that. So my assumption is currently you pissed off the neighbors so much that they framed you of a murder, which means you live in an incredibly rough neighborhood, which we already knew.
There is also the point of, perhaps it is someone who does not like the mayor and wishes to anger him but cannot attack him directly, so he attacks his friends.
Did the people, especially your neighbors, know that you are friends with Mayor Tanner?
I mean, I guess there's some stories of how I worked for his, for the company he owns now. I guess it was his father's company at the time. What was his uncle's? I can't remember. His family's really weird. I mean,
I believe he said it was his father's.
I think it was originally his uncle's and his father's. I worked for a lot of years there. I worked for a lot of years for them, you know? A lot of years.
We get it. Okay.
So,
You're old. We understand.
Probably rot to death in here. We don't save you.
I mean, I don't get to drink, and I guess the bread's okay, but I'd like a nice hearty stew of some kind.
as he's talking about food, I reach in my bag and eat more berries.
You'll see one of
Is
the
he-
guards kind of like look at you and like shake his head when like, you know, looking towards
Don't tease the prisoners. I think this is everything Firebeard's going to tell us. If there is anything we need you for, we can always come back. You're not going anywhere. Ah. That was
I
insensitive.
think we should look
I'm
at the
sorry.
body.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
You said that
Firebeard,
so
when you're
skitty.
beginning like to have this discussion, will then kind of lie down and like kind of turn over, like not facing towards you guys anymore.
I suppose we'd like actually leave then, and we'd have the rest of this conversation
Yeah.
while we're on the way to this
He's
church.
like, yeah, it's like as you're like starting the conversation, he like just was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Also, one more thing. Firebeard. Stand up in the center of your cell, and
He'll like kind of sigh a little bit. He'll kind of get up. He'll kind of like walk to the center of the cell, kind of like stretch himself out, kind of like, you know, well, okay.
now act like you are swinging your axe at me.
He extinguishes his dominant hand, yes?
He'll like get into a position. It looks like he has like would have like a two-handed weapon,
Uh-huh.
and like kind of like do a double-handed swing, more from the right side than the left.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
That is all.
right hand is his top hand. Good.
It doesn't matter what hand it is. It matters that old that one can now show that off to anyone. He's a mage, right? Probably got some illusions in there.
Hmm.
Smart. Now
We'll
we
get
should
back
probably
down
go.
Yes.
We should follow the big one. Go to a church. I guess we're dealing with bodies. I swear, if this body comes out of the coffin,
Chop
Actually,
its
can
head
I
off.
determine to see if he was trying to fake the swing to swing differently than he normally would?
Sure. You can roll insight.
Okay.
that's fucking.
Oh
Smart.
gosh.
He's a blacksmith, right?
And more, but
That
mainly
one.
blacksmith, it seems like.
Uh,
He also does jewelry work and apparently woodwork too.
last
And
thing-
horn work.
Last thing from us, Don. Can you please show me your hands? Does the right or left hand seem just way more calloused and used?
They actually seem pretty evenly calloused. Like, give me perception, actually.
All right.
Also, yeah, I got a 1 on my insight, total
Yep.
of 3.
That's all that.
Don't worry, we're rolling great tonight.
I mean, they look pretty the same. You can't really tell much of a difference between them.
Oh my gosh.
I'll look at his hands as well.
Okay. You can see that though they look pretty close, it does look like the right has a little bit more wear than the other. But it looks like he seems to be also fairly adept with his left hand too.
Barter doesn't check the hands. Barter wants to leave.
Part of
I'm going to take the lead and start shaking people to where the church is.
Okay. Okay. So it is a church to Terrianus, the protector of fair wind.
Bit of a
Someone
mouthful,
seems
eh?
excited to see a Baldy.
Are you popping on my shoulder again?
Of course.
I'm going to taste like pat you on the head.
It's a sight to see as you're walking through the
Wait,
town.
wait, I'm gonna reach in my pocket, grab out a piece of hardtack, and toss it up to you.
Oh,
Looks
there's
like
no
stealth. It's out the
hesitation.
window.
I instantly just snap my beak over and grab it.
Because it's not like we're doing some political intrigue, detective work. No, let's let the entire seaside town know that a bunch of freaks is coming. Hey, you over there! We're investigating a murder.
Even if we were wearing cloaks to hide ourselves, you think you can hide these two's height? We're going to be
Maybe
noticed
not
no matter what.
We can not exaggerate it even more. It's like I forgot. You're all amateurs. What?
So, the temple
not
is
all of-
within
not
the
all of us.
Green District, which is the area I would call, like, east of the docking area, where most of the main parts of the village are. You know, it's the just more quaint city sort of
Sure.
/ village area.
Sure. Residential.
It's residential, yes. But it also does lead into the farmlands, too, at the border of it. Because it does seem like there's a large, like, outer gate to this, or outer wall to this area that has, like, a couple square miles of farmland within the walls.
City's so big, it needs fish and farming to survive, yeah.
So it does seem like they do have, like, an area so that, like, they do have this larger outer wall that if some kind of siege would happen, they would have to breach this first wall, and they would have some farmland within it, even.
Cool. Barter would be letting Khan I don't know, big guy. No one shared names. It's just like Goliath 1, Goliath 2, and Bird to Bartha right now. And he's not even particularly racist, it's just he doesn't know anything.
Wolfburn did introduce himself.
That's true.
Not Wolfburn.
So he'd be letting Khan lead, because he seems to be the most interested in this. And I don't want to be in charge.
Okay.
Body.
Okay. You will head to the temple. It's a, I would say, relatively simple structure. Kind of pretty tall. It's got like a bell tower in the one side and a kind of other tower in the back. So it's kind of like that one tower on each side of the church, kind of main thing. Sort of small buildings off to the sides, kind of more traditional, kind of churchy looking.
Church is a church.
A church is a church. You can enter into the front door very easily. It leads into like an area with like a large set of pews. It seems like the pews are arranged around a central statue. So it's like goes to like, so you can go to ones that are like on your side, or you can go to some on the other side that are like facing towards the original door. So it's like all big towards this central one. And there seems to be like 4 small altars in each of the cardinal directions around there. With, it seems like, different things on them that almost seem to represent like the 4 different winds.
Cool. How many people are here right now?
There's a number of people like in seats, praying and worshiping. There does seem to be a group of sailors talking with someone from there. There does seem to be a number of actual priests doing like little work around the area.
I'll tap the big guy.
Okay.
And get us a priest.
Which one?
The big guy.
Yeah.
He's the big guy.
Yes. By the way, I'm Karn. And I'm just gonna start walking over to the nearest priest.
Okay. There's someone that seems to be like making sure everything on the little altars is all right, checking up on them. He'll kind of like look over and then like kind of look up and like, can I help you?
We're here on the behalf of the mayor. We're here to see, what was her name?
Winifred Thomas.
What he said. As I point to the bird on my shoulder. Body.
You wish to talk to Father Knock. He's in charge of prepping bodies for burial and making sure they stay in fine pieces until time is ready.
Is he the one who knocks?
That is a joke that has been had plenty of times. Thank you.
Can you show us to him?
Yes. Sure. He'll take you and kind of like move over to one of the side rooms. He's a little like slightly kind of waddly, kind of little pudgy, but like,
Aww.
So he kind of like a little shorter than like most people too. It looks like he's pretty young, but has definitely prematurely balding also. Not like shaved, but like actually balding.
Yeah, not like just occidental.
No, it looks like he's occidental, but it's just because of
You can
happens
tell.
to be.
Yeah.
I lean over to Karn and whisper, "He looks like a fat little pig I would catch for meal."
Because you're probably still on his shoulder the entire time.
Yeah, I still am.
$8, so it's okay, right?
I chuckle and I slap him on the back.
Yeah. Thump. Wait right here, gentlemen.
Nod.
That's an interesting... He'll kind of like take like a little look at like the bird person. Pet compatriot?
Run, little piggy.
Find
Pet
priest. Find priest, please, sir.
He's
All
a
right,
person.
then.
Time is of the essence.
Okay.
You might want to stop this line of inquiry before you. Why am I doing your accent?
It worked.
You might want to stop this line of inquiry before you become his prey.
Okay. So he'll kind of
When
like,
he goes, Butter will just turn to bloody Car and be like, "No eating people. I shouldn't need to say that, but all of a sudden I feel a need." He didn't even hear the comment, but that Wolfman's got him worried now.
I will say
I
probably
don't eat
too
people.
loudly. I do not eat people, only little piggies.
Okay.
um,
Do you huff and puff?
a little while longer, someone dressed in slightly better robes than the man you saw before. He's looking a little older. He's maybe like 40s.
How
Okay.
balding is he?
Not very balding.
That's good to know.
You gentlemen looking for me? I am Father Knock.
We're looking for Winifred.
So it has been said to me. You are the official business, it sounds like.
I'll hold up our little things.
Your writ. He'll
Yeah,
take
writ.
it from you, kind of take a look over it. Fine then. I reposed her body. It is so it does not fade while burial is being prepared. Her family has been told to come in. They are from a small village nearby and have not yet arrived. So you are lucky. We have done little with it. You are investigating things. Come with me.
Thank you.
He'll take you through another door, down to a set of stairs, which will lead you down into sort of a basement area. It looks like there's a number of side rooms where things are interned and stuff. It looks like this one area is like it's for priests and stuff, where it's got these kind of like burial chambers in the wall where they have the big stone plates in front of them and stuff. And eventually leads you down to an area with a number of stone slabs and various bodies that are seemingly there. In various like states. Most of them look to be like elderly. There's a couple of younger people here. All of them seem to be in like being perfectly preserved, as if through magic. He will take you all over to this one body of a kind of like shoulder length brunette girl. She's still in like the simple clothes that she was probably in when she died, lying like on her back and lying against the slab.
Is there an obvious wound?
No, there is not obvious wounds.
Huh.
May we
Perhaps on the
turn
back.
her over?
I'll do it. You should not touch the bodies. Keep the sanctity. He'll show you the back of the body, and it appears that she has 4 strikes to the back.
Someone hit her while she was running.
Or when she fell, kept hitting her.
The
Hold on.
4 strikes to the back, do they appear to be piercing or slashing?
They look like they could be an axe.
Okay.
Do they are they like more glancing blows where
Can I
they
attempt-
start off thicker
can I
and then go
attempt medical?
thin, or
Sure, you can attempt medical if you want to take a look at it.
I want to do an investigation, but you know it's not going to be as good as
Yeah,
a
I was-
roll.
Okay.
Might as well try.
Okay.
But we aren't good in this game.
Yeah.
Everyone's useless, so
I mean,
I want to try investigating the. I'm actually gonna check the wound to see if it might. Probably not if it's a magical blade. Ah,
since I'm asking like specific questions, should I roll medicine as well?
sure.
Alright.
I don't have any spells for this.
Okay,
The best roll tonight!
yes, really it is.
wow! Don't get excited over a 14.
So, let me know your questions, and I'll let you know what information you've gleaned from your knowledge.
Right now my big question is if from the original point, if it starts out deeper and then goes thinner, or if the wounds look to be going just straight in and coming back out.
It looks like one big blow, and then like 3 blows a little less, but all about the same power. So it's like sort of like one was like center of the back, it looks like, and then 3 others like a little higher up on the back, like up around the shoulders, like trying to get like the neck and head up, but it looks like they did it. Like you can see like the little back of the head and like the neck, there's a little bit of glancing like to them, but it looks like it mainly got like up at like right below the neckline for the other 3.
So,
Is there an angle to the blows? Does it look like it would be right or left-handed?
You really can't tell.
Okay.
so I have a. I'm curious if it. Basically, I want to check to see if both of them, if the dwarf and the woman were standing, could this be from him, like an attack from him? If she was lying down, could it be an attack from him? Or if what was the last thing? Dang it, Brian. One more thing I was going to ask. Oh yeah, if the strength, like the depth, because you said they're of equal strength, does it look like he, like someone of his strength, might be able to inflict a wound like this?
Give me an investigation check.
Also, how tall is she?
Maybe like 5'4", 5'5", we'll say.
And how tall was he?
Average dwarf, so definitely short.
It's not gonna be. It's not like this is impossible for a dwarf
Yeah,
to do.
like
No.
You know?
the middle of the back hit is definitely possible for him, but you figure none of you can really get a really good judgment. You could say like, well, it could be up for like, anybody of medium size could probably hit that,
Yeah.
Maybe not like you Goliaths because you're extra tall.
You'd be angling down, and like a halfling would be
Yeah.
angling up. This
Yeah.
is someone angling
But like
side
a
to
dwarf
side,
or a
more or
human,
less.
a dwarf and human could both get that angle. The ones towards the top of her, it doesn't look like if she was standing, the dwarf could have gotten those. But if she was on the ground, if she's on the ground, anybody could have gotten those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't really say a lot.
So
So-
I'm more curious if someone of his strength might inflict a wound as deep as this.
It did.
Is probably the last thing
It
then.
looks like the main hit that was in the center of the back was a very good hit. Regardless if that was like maybe just a lucky strike or it showed off the strength, you can't really tell. It looks like there was a little bit of strength behind it, you could say. But but if it was like his strength or maybe a little less, it could have even been like a glancing blow for someone with a little more too,
Yeah. Okay. So it's just hard to tell.
Wound's a wound.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I exactly got the answer for this, but for that first big strike, does it look like it just stuck in, or it hit and then kept cutting down?
It looks like none of them were like stuck into it. It looks like all of them were sort of like a splonk and out, kind of hits.
Definitely chasing in what Barter is thinking.
If it just goes in and comes out and it doesn't have a long slash down, then if she was running and they took the time to actually swing, it would have pushed her forward and made a smaller cut going down.
Also, if he attacks the way he showed, he did a follow through.
So to me, it looks like she wasn't running. She just had her back towards them and was standing still.
You're trying to say it's not his portfolio.
It's
Not directly. It could be, because if you think about
People are always they're going to swing differently depending on the situation, aren't they?
yeah.
Barter has he briefly checks, but then he's just sort of like looking around just in case, but he's not actually really paying attention to the body. Dead's dead.
Actually, there's one more thing I want to look at.
Okay.
Were these axe cuts used to cover up a different wound?
None that you can see.
Okay.
The priest is still standing there with the body and, of course, showing it to you, like, as you're kind of, like, looking at it.
Because I would think four strikes is a little weird for an axe.
Priest, in your experience, are these weird in any way? Like, are they not of a usual weapon?
I don't get a lot of axe wounds in the dead. Most of our soldiers manage to survive such things or are taken care of in military capacities. Do not return to me.
Plus, we know it's a magical weapon. Magical weapons leave different kinds of wounds. We can't follow this unless we find the weapon itself. And
Well, they have it at the police station.
Did they know what? Did anyone mention what the weapon did?
we don't know what the magic is. It's just it's magic.
Okay.
Is there
We
anything
could
else
head
I can
back-
assist you with?
I think that'll be all, but thank you for your cooperation.
There is something else I did notice that perhaps you would want to see.
Please.
He'll kind of put her down, and then he'll kind of turn over and show you her hands. I noticed these by chance. I don't know if it's anything. I believe she was a cobbler in life, actually. Someone had said. But
Taylor?
I think it was a cobbler.
Hmm.
But she'll show the hands, and there are strange cut marks across the hands that seem to have been, like, older ones that were, like, kind of healed up.
Ooh.
I wonder if she had a boyfriend or something.
Can I do a perception? What I'm specifically looking for, as someone who knows thieves can't, almost, is the way I'm kind of doing this, is if this is a sort of thief thing, like a
gang
smuggler's
sign?
initiation or something like that. Because that's what Bart is thinking it is, like I've seen it before. I want to do a perception for that, because my perception's, like, adequate, but it's horrible. Don't worry. But that's what I'm thinking either way. Innocent girl is now a bastard.
Yeah. Okay. You.
And he will actually
gonna...
say that that's what he's seen something like this before. It was to do with thieving.
I want to try on a medicine check to see if it looks like it could be like defensive wounds.
Okay.
And
He
I
said
want
they
to
were
look.
old.
What do you
But
want
And I
it
to
could
want to
be
look
old
to see if it
defensive.
might be some sort of
Yeah.
sigil, maybe.
Okay.
Hey, go 8 buddies.
Yeah.
What is up with this?
I don't know.
Horrible luck.
What should I roll for that? For like a sigil.
Religion?
Give me
Arcana?
religion, yeah. Religion or Arcana, depending on if you're going for more religious or more arcane.
D20 hates us tonight.
Apparently.
Hey!
Okay. You take a look at it, and there doesn't seem to be like an actual like pattern that you'd identify as arcane. And I'll give you a little bit more since you are looking at patterns. They look to be very like parallel to each other across the hands.
Okay.
They're not quite exact parallel.
As in the
but,
hands are parallel?
Well, no, like when you're looking across the cuts on the hands.
Okay.
As if, like, maybe whatever was causing them was within the hand, you're guessing. And maybe it wasn't, like, exactly steady in the hand, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
But it looks like both of them have the similar kind of thing.
Okay.
We
So-
should definitely go to her house.
Yeah, and that abandoned house.
Yep, both.
Yeah,
of them.
I'm like sketching out the like wound markers in my book, and all of a sudden I'm like my quill snaps, and just like I reach over to the bird and just pull out a feather. Continue writing.
Before we go to the house, should we go back to the sheriff's office so, since he knows magic, maybe he could determine what kind of properties are on the axe?
That would take a lot of time. Maybe 2 of you go, and I'll stay with the bird, and we will.
Bird man!
We can start off investigating her house, and then you can rejoin us when you're done. That seems very smart.
That's fine.
That is acceptable. I can understand why you'd want me instead of them, as you know. We are short one, that's
Or
not.
just don't want to waste all of our time, because there may be a murderer out there. Or, you know, a smuggler's fiction or something. So, definitely.
Okay.
Come on, Goliath, brother.
So, who's going to the sheriff?
Apparently the Goliath.
Team Goliath.
I think the Goliath should go to the sheriff, and then me and Krr will go to Winifred's house to investigate that as much as we can.
Oh, you won't have your walking perch.
Okay. The two of you that head to the sheriff can easily get
Why are we
back.
going to the sheriff? Just to
So
know
you
if he
can
knows what.
So you can find out what magic is on the weapon.
Oh, okay.
You will be easily able to return to the sheriff using your writ to at least get permission enough to go there. When you, it seems like the writ that you have, they don't really want to let you back into the Marble District. But if you're like, we're here to see the sheriff on business of the town, they're like,
That's funny.
fine.
We
Yeah,
got a
Ra-
one-time pass.
They will
Well-
look. They will look at you and like kind of like eye you up as being very kind of like You don't belong here.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I wear pants and a vest, and that's it.
Most barbarians don't even bother with the vest, so, you know.
I mean, if
Yeah,
we're,
I wear
if,
the vest. Extra pockets.
Oh.
As Barter and I are walking, Kra puts his hood up and like puts the arms together like traditional holy man kind of thing walking through town.
Okay.
Barter appreciates it.
The two of you are bonding over something.
No.
Goliath, yes.
There's weird.
so what
bonding
tribe
going
do
on
you fare from?
I'll name a random tribe because I don't know offhand.
What do you
I was
mean
actually-
the randomly generated character didn't generate a tribe key? This kind of generator is trash.
Well,
They should have
they
generated
do,
a tribe too.
they do have suggestions on the website. So we can suggest improvements.
Investigate the magic! This is the 3-hour stream, come on.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm from Ogolakanu clan.
Cool. You'll bond over your clans.
Yes.
You arrive at the sheriff's, though. Well, the building that the sheriff was within. You can ask around, and you will get a message back from someone that is like, "What do you want to know?
We wish to examine the weapon that was used in the murder.
What do you want to know about it? It's an axe."
Well,
know
it
it-
was a magical axe.
Yes.
Not?
Yes.
What magic was on it? You know?
Yes. I can tell you that much. It apparently had magic that would allow you to hit harder, and it is said that its powers allowed it to strike at weaker points easier.
I see.
It guided you to points of
Vitality.
yes.
Is that all it did?
As far as I know, that's what we've identified.
Also, do you know what? Well, Do you know what might have caused these scars on her hand? I say as I put down the sketch I took of the cuts.
Scars? I don't know. Something? Maybe cutting them on a blade for work or something? You should probably talk to some kind of expert in her line of field and see if it is matching that. I would not know otherwise. No soldier here would get wounds like that unless they were, I don't know, holding a blade in their hands and juggling it or something.
That'd be an odd thing to do.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, from what I understand, she did not work in the circus, but very well.
Anything else?
No,
Not
that's
that I
all
can
for now.
think
All right. You're welcome. The person that was sent by the sheriff will walk off, annoyed. You know, the sheriff didn't even show up. It was this person here. You know, it was like, I will answer your questions for the sheriff. Barter and Crawl, you will make it to her place. It seems like she is part of a building that she was living on the second floor, so it was sort of like a simple kind of, I would say more of a boarding house. Not quite apartments, because like the bottom floor is the owner. You know, it's 3 floors. The second and third floors are just, you know, controlled by different tenants.
Okay, so could we see the owner, then?
The owner will probably greet you at the door. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
It's a kind of older gentleman, probably in his 50s. He'll be kind of like, can I do something for you?
We were sent here by the mayor. We're investigating a murder, the murder of Winifred Thomas. We would love to see her apartment, if that is okay with you.
I haven't cleared anything out yet because her parents haven't arrived yet. I was told by the guards that they would be arriving to claim her stuff and pay off any debts.
That's absolutely okay. But we're investigators. We won't be doing anything of that sort. Your plans will continue as previously organized.
All right, I guess. Do you have any kind of ID?
I'd actually show, not the writ, I'd show my badge. And my badge looks really fancy. It's like from a foreign land, of course, but it does it's like an official, like it's like silver and all that.
Okay. He'll take a look at it and go, I haven't seen anything like this, but I guess you're official?
That's what I was going for. It looks official. He doesn't need to know the deeds.
Well, he's not rolling much better than you guys anyway. So he takes a look at it, and he's fairly convinced,
Okay.
So, you mentioned debts. Did she have any?
She was like a month behind, but she said she would be getting the money shortly.
What a lovely landlord you are, allowing that.
She was usually good, and she did help out a little bit around the building, so I was letting it slide a little bit.
I'm watching him. 16 insight, what do I get?
I mean, he feels like he's honest about being nice about her, but it seems like you get the feeling about, I guess maybe the helping out is a little less,
Oh, that's why she... Okay, that's why she's a month behind. She's okay with being a month behind on rent. Alright, good, that's...
Yes.
Foster will not be very amused by this, but he'll be like not going along with the conversation, keeping pace. But he'll definitely be like reading the shade.
Yeah.
Did she perhaps tell you how she was going to come across this money that she was behind?
Nah. No, I heard nothing about it. She just told me that she would have the money and pay me back. We wouldn't have to worry about anything.
And, what was her line of business?
I think she was a cobbler, but she did a couple of jobs. I think that was the last one she had. It's always small businesses here in the docks, though.
Yep. Lovely. Could you unlock the door for us, please? We won't be long.
Sure. He'll take you up to the room.
Great. Wandering in, I'd love to do an entrance perception check.
Okay.
Quick glance, ocular pat down kind of thing.
Sure. You take a look around. There's a simple bed in here, kind of a chest near the bed. There's a kind of dresser where you can maybe hang up some nicer clothes if you had any, or at least a couple of things, with a couple of drawers on the bottom. There's a small writing desk with a tiny mirror at it, like a water bowl that if you needed to gather some water to wash your face in the morning kind of thing.
It's more than just the bare necessities.
Yes.
Okay,
a little bit more. There's probably a small maybe wood stove or something that you could have there to warm the room during the winters. Leading to I guess there's a central chimney thing it's connected to that goes out to the middle of the house that all the rooms probably have one of these connected to it.
Cool. So obviously start investigating.
Mm-hmm.
Is the landlord standing there, or has he wandered off?
He's standing there right now, kind of looking at what you're doing a little bit, curious almost.
Okay. I'll say to Craw. I would have learned his name on the way, because we maybe should learn names. Now I know everyone's name. Yay!
Craw.
Yes. Just do a quick pat down. Anything completely out of the ordinary. Especially if you find any cobbler's equipment, that would be very useful.
Or knife jugglers.
I turn towards the landlord and... Is the floor, is it instantly the ceiling of the ground below us, or is there a crawl space?
I don't think there's a crawl space. It might be a couple of layers to keep it supporting, but I don't think there's a crawl space.
I'll walk around looking for any loose floorboards.
Okay, You can either give me perception or investigation, whichever you feel
What?
like.
The one that has a +6 modifier. Thank you.
Yes.
It's a shame because I would love to do perception investigation for this, like, description wise, but absolutely perception is just better in every way.
Yes. Okay. You do not find any loose floorboards. All of them seem perfectly fine.
Okay, do I find anything else? I would be, again, like, just kind of looking at everything while he's having a conversation.
The desk itself seems pretty bare and sparse. It looks like there's a couple of papers there, but you do not see any, like, writing utensils or anything with, like, actual writing on it. It just seems a couple of blank papers. The chest of drawers seems unlocked. The chest seems unlocked. If you were to go within it, you would see that it just has a couple of, like, personal effects in it. There's a couple of books in there, a couple of small pieces of jewelry. Just to...
I'll flick through the books, especially any that look like we've been looked in recently. And I'll be honest, he's looking for thieves' can't. He knows it just as like an investigator. I'm playing the rogue who's like actually a cop, you know.
Yeah.
He knows thieves can't, but someone is like, "Hey, buddy, thieves can't." And we're like, "You're under arrest."
Yeah.
You damn animal.
You won't find any kind of, like, thieves' can't. It looks like
Cool.
a few books that are, like, fictional stories of some kind. You know, they seem to involve tales of, like, swashbuckling and romance or something. They're, like, very weirdly written, because, you know, think of, like, ancient
Trashy romance novels.
Trashy romance novels that are probably pretty expensive to buy because it's a book, you know, around
Yes.
here.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, it's clear that this woman had more money.
Well, they do seem a little worn and stuff, so they could have
But
been
still,
inherited,
like,
you know?
secondhand or inherited. Like, this is, for a fantasy world,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
And what Barta's thinking is that because she doesn't have money right now, it would make sense that she was a thief or in some kind of illicit work, because that's not a steady flow of money. So she can have fancy things when she has them, but she can't have them now because money.
You will also see there is, like, a novel on... It appears to be divinity, but not, like... It appears to be, like... It's information about gods, angels, demons, devils, like, everything about it.
Oh, I'm doing a perception check to see, like, which area the book is most leaped through, which ones have been opened the most, you know, where the book naturally bends, stuff like that. What natural 20, so if there was some demon worship going on, find out.
I mean, like, you're taking a look, and it looks like the book hasn't had a whole lot of wearing, but it does look like there might have been a little creases towards the back, like someone was reading over the evil section a little bit more.
Okay. He's keeping the book.
Okay.
No, actually, he's actually just gonna tear those pages out.
Okay. Like, it's pretty much, you couldn't, even with your perception, because it hasn't been used a lot, you couldn't tell which part of the book it is. It's pretty much like the back end of the book. So, I mean, if you, like, want to, like, tear the book in half and take, like, the back end.
Yeah, I guess not then.
Yeah.
But still. That's innocent woman. She's a thief. She's a demon cultist. It's going. It's just getting worse and worse in his head.
He's a demonic thief.
For the standing closet / drawers, the two drawers below seem to have, like, some simple clothes in it. There's a couple of, like, more dresses hanging up above there, too.
Okay. I mean, I'll check the pockets in them, but
Okay. Give me another perception. Then. Give me another perception then.
I mean, that natural 20 doesn't roll over. That's such a shame.
Well, I mean, but you still rolled a
That works.
22. So you still got really great. You don't find anything in the pockets, but you do notice something strange on one of them. There seems to be this kind of, like, stain on one of them that wasn't cleaned up. And when you take, like, a smell of it, it's got this kind of fruit smell to it still. Like, it's a pretty fresh stain.
Fruit stain.
It's like a dark red, too.
Wine.
No, not like wine, not alcoholic. Like an actual, like, fruit.
That's weird. Okay. And this is a seaside city, so that's, like, super weird. Okay.
Strawberries.
Strawberry. Yeah,
It's
he's
not something you're familiar with either.
Yeah, he's gonna note it, but not it doesn't ring any bells.
Mhm.
So he'll mention it to Craw, but that's like probably when we leave because the caretaker's like there.
Yeah.
Are there any like vents or any way for air to travel through between walls or anything like that?
No, not really. I mean, if you took apart the stove kind of thing, you could probably get into that main chimney if you really wanted to. But you wouldn't be able to get into the chimney. You'd be able to like reach into the chimney if you really wanted to.
I'm gonna look in the chimney.
Okay, so you'll kind of like take apart the stove.
How does the owner act?
He's just gonna like kind of scratch his face and look at you guys. It's like, are you guys all right?
I will put it back. Do not
Yeah,
worry.
give me a quick perception then for that one.
There it is.
You will find some ash and some soot and some ash.
Ooh.
I respect your inquisitive nature, but I think we've got everything we'll need here. We'll meet up with the other two at that abandoned site.
That is one spot that people should always check, but we have not yet. The bed.
I mean, he's walked around everywhere. I've only looked where Tantus wants to tell me, but he's been trying to look everywhere.
If you got a chance to look at the bed, you didn't really
Yeah,
see
feel
anything
free,
like, that stand out, you know. Unless like somehow that was super hidden in the bed.
You know what he would do? He would actually push his hands on the bed and like, this seems like a high quality bed, doesn't it? And he talks to the caretaker. Just like not like.
He'll be like, it's as fine as any
just like-
other bed in this house, in this building.
But you can tell, like, he'd actually do the tiefling thing, like, look at him, and, like, his irises would just, like, glow in a bit of a circle, just like I know you're fucking doing shady shit. I'm not here for you, but I know you're doing shady shit. I'm gonna roll intimidation anyway, because why not?
He's like, look, man, yeah, it's a really nice bed, sure, whatever. I'm gonna go downstairs now. I'll just wait down there.
The main question about the bed was like, I'm pretty sure Ellie's character checked under it, but were there any odd lumps in the bed?
Oh.
Mattress or anything?
Okay.
I mean, like, the bed seems actually well maintained, and you don't see any kind of, like,
Right, it was.
And I will say, you don't see any kind of evidence of, like, that it would be used for the things that you're probably thinking it would be used
get
for.
it.
Yes. If she was doing something, it wasn't
like,
here.
Like
It was in
something,
his bed.
like it was slashed along the seam and something was stuffed in or something.
Oh no,
like that.
it seems just puffy, like as nice as it is. It looks like some kind of like straw mattress, probably. You know, so.
Cool. Let's go meet them at the abandoned building because we can't
yes.
investigate forever.
And why don't we take our break then that we're gonna have as we go
Yay,
to
break.
investigate the final bug? You know, this is a pretty good place to stop here. So we'll be back in like a couple minutes. We're just gonna get to some like water, drink, bathroom, all that stuff, and we'll be back to continue the adventures now that we are on to the abandoned building where she was murdered.
Dun dun dun.
So we'll be right back, folks.
So long.